All right, on a hope and a prayer, I threw up the link to Mr. Mike Board. He is the general manager of the Calgary Roughnecks in the NLL, and we got him on for a few minutes here, so we're going to take advantage of the time. Boardsy, how's it going today?
Very well, thank you. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Well, this is the big week, I guess, for the NLL. Everything's starting to get back into form after losing last season. We now have the draft, and everybody's getting pumped up for this weekend. I wonder for you, you look at the draft this weekend. It's been hard to see guys. You had some things going on in Ontario and some other little tournaments going on as well. For you, what are you looking for out of guys, and what have you noticed the most out of guys who've gotten to play that's caught your eye?
Well, it has been a little bit tricky. I mean, I think that the leagues in Ontario did a great job of getting getting access for everybody to watch games and things like that, both at the junior and senior level out at the track. And then British Columbia had some games and sort of had a bit of a showcase weekend kind of thing. So we've had a chance to look at guys, which is important. And I think I suppose watching some of these games I was surprised that, guys who hadn't played for, a year or more, that there wasn't a lot of rust. Like, it seemed that the guys were able to get rolling in a bit of a hurry.
No, it's true. And I've talked to a couple of GMs now about just players and getting them up to speed, and conditioning be a huge thing. I'm wondering for you, you look going into the season, there's going to be injuries and there's going to be guys that need to, I guess, come along a little bit with conditioning. In your eyes, for the coaching staff and yourself, is it going to be a little bit looser, with guys coming in maybe at not 100% up to speed, where usually, you expect them to be in tip-top condition coming into camp, ready to roll? This year might be a little bit different, where the rust has to come off the wheels a little bit.
Yeah, I think there's a process to, get the guys training a little bit early. And, I think the big concern is probably, injury prevention, because you can't ramp up from 0 to, 110 in the NLL in a hurry. So I think there'll be a bit of an easing in, and you have your sort of month-long training camp kind of thing. So, the medical team will, and our physio people and all those, and the strength coach will kind of monitor how guys are feeling. I would agree, we'd probably have to be flexible, like you suggest.
No, definitely. And now we look at the draft this weekend. Obviously, for you guys, you come in slotted at the 6th spot and the 15th spot. Now, last year, you made a splash of a deal trading Tyson Bell to Halifax, which we'll get to in just a moment. We're very excited, by the way, to see Tyson Bell in a Halifax Thunderbirds jersey. But are you looking at those two picks, and are you firm on making those picks? Or is there maybe something that, hey, if it comes along, we're open to trading one or maybe both of these picks to get a guy on our roster to help propel us out of that 5-5 that we were in last year?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're open to any suggestions. We head into the draft with the idea of, making our team better, obviously, for now and for the future. So we're pretty flexible on some things, but we like where we sit. We also have the 22nd overall pick. So, 3 picks in the top 22 we've been in worse spots. So having those 3 picks is pretty good. So, and we're identifying guys that we think will be available at those points. And, if things fall into place, we'll probably be pretty happy.
I've asked the kind of boring question of everybody about their roster and, with the picks that they have, are they looking to address an immediate need, or is it a future thing? So I'll ask for you guys. Obviously, if you keep all those 3 picks, is it a future thing, or is it someone you're looking to have an impact in this roster coming season, add a little flair, of course, with the NLL coming back after almost 2-year layoff?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both, to be perfectly honest. I mean, with COVID and the NCAA guys having extra years of eligibility, that you can take a look at those guys and say, okay, a year from now, what do we look like, and will this guy fit in? And does he step in and make an impact in a year? And then there are a lot of other really good players that can step in right now. So I think depending on how the draft unfolds is how you would look at that. But I think it's a combination of both, just simply because of what COVID's done with the NCAA guys.
No, definitely. So let's go swing it back here. Obviously, Halifax gets the opportunity to have the Tyson Bell show here. What can we expect from this guy here in Halifax and get excited about? I know he is a loose ball specialist. Obviously, the numbers came down a little bit over the years, but he's still a guy that likes to get a hold of that ball, and he's very ferocious. And of course, he's a guy with the flow. So, a lot of people love to see that style. But for you, you got to see him firsthand. What can Halifax fans expect from this guy? And should we be excited for Tyson Bell?
Oh, for sure. Really good kid. It was hard to trade him, but that's sort of the business of sport, I suppose, and things happen. But no, he's a great kid. You will like the flow. You will recognize him everywhere. No, he's a very good defender. Like you say, he's a loose ball guy. I think one of the things that you will probably notice in Halifax is he's really good with the fans. He's very outgoing and friendly, and I think Halifax is going to like him.
No, we can't wait to have him on the floor here. Obviously, we looked at Halifax, and I want to ask you from an outsider's perspective about this team. They came in, they put on the performance they did on the floor, but also they were able to do it with the entire fanfare and everything, get everything done from button to bin, and show everybody just exactly what's going to happen with lacrosse and why it should be, one of the most talked about things here in Halifax outside of the Halifax Mooseheads. So from your perspective, when you see all this going down, what do you think? Obviously, the NLL is starting to come along with new owners and everything going forward. So it's a great step, and there's more to come, obviously, with the new teams coming in Texas and, of course, Vegas. But Halifax kind of smashed it out of the park, I think.
Yeah, they did. I think they did a great job. And I mean, hats off to Kurt Stars and his group that, took a bit of a leap and went into a city that I think is a great city. It's a terrific city, and a passionate sports city. It's if lacrosse wasn't extremely well known, and I know there is some lacrosse out there. I think I went to a tournament when I was in Bantam out in Halifax, actually. But I think that I think it'll help, the minor systems and things like that. People will get excited about lacrosse. It's too bad it was the shortened type season, but I think with a full season and the opportunity to spend more time even in Halifax, I think there's nothing but an upside for the Thunderbirds.
No, there's definitely an upside there. And let's talk about upside for the Calgary Roughnecks as well. This season, we talk about everybody coming back. What can fans expect from the Calgary Roughnecks on the floor this season? What do they need to look forward to? And for you, what is one piece that you're really excited to see get rolling with the Roughnecks?
Well, I think we're chomping at the bit just to get back at it. I think so, like everybody else. But I think we're a big, strong, athletic team, and we're our defense can move the ball. We've got a really good goaltender who also throws the ball extremely well. So I think you can, we're not going to change our style all that much. We're a team that can run the ball. We can play, some tough D, and we've got some guys who can put the ball in the net on offense. I think one of the things I'm looking forward to is we have Jesse King on our team, and he's been injured a couple of times, and we haven't really had a full season with him. But I'm really looking forward to see what he can do. And we have a young left-hander, Tanner Cook, who we drafted last year, that I'm excited to see on the floor and see what he can bring to the table.
No, so I look at this and I look at the season going ahead this year. I'm wondering for you, obviously COVID is the big monster that's hovering over everything, whether it's the NLL, whether it's the NHL, NFL, you name it. There's always going to be that little bit of, okay, what's next? What's going to happen? For you, I'm wondering, have you had any thoughts about the border crossing? Because that's going to have to happen. And have you had any touch base with your staff about, this is what we're implementing for this and that? And I asked that question because you're obviously maybe going to have extra players within the roster. And I don't know if the NLLPA has come up with anything with the NLL to make that happen. We've seen it with other leagues. So I'm assuming it would go forward with the NLL as well with an expanded roster a little bit, not just for injuries, but obviously for COVID things. Is that something that's come up through any discussion so far, Mike?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the league is working on some protocols for us. I mean, we had looked at having a shortened season. We had looked at doing a bubble at one point throughout COVID. So a lot of those discussions have been had, and what our protocols will look like. Certainly, there will be different protocols within the building itself, and to keep fans and players and staff safe. There'll be extra cleaning, obviously, those kind of things. Border crossing, the league is actually looking into those types of things as we speak. So we'll be developing, I guess you would call it a return to play / COVID type policy that teams will have to follow.
No, and then the lastly, I know you are really tight for time today, so I want to ask one last question. For the Calgary Roughnecks going into this season, it's going to be very exciting for everyone, whether it's the Roughnecks, the Thunderbirds, the Rush, it doesn't matter. For you, what game is that circle on your calendar that you cannot wait to play and make it a fanfare event? There's every team's got one, every team's got a rival. Which one is yours, Mike? Which one do you latch on to and say, this one's got the juice?
Yeah, boy, we have juice with a lot of teams, I suppose, but I think our games against Saskatchewan are some of the best, and there is a rivalry, and we're close enough to them that a lot of our fans go to Saskatchewan, and a lot of Saskatchewan fans come to Calgary. So, and I think that's rolled over from a little bit from the rivalry that the Stampeders and Rough Riders have. So, they're both passionate fan bases, and I think that adds some energy into the building. And I think the games are highly competitive. Like, the two teams are very evenly matched, and you can usually predict that it's going to be pretty close.
Well, we're looking forward to this season, and we're looking forward to the draft this weekend. Hopefully, if you guys get out to Halifax, get to meet you in person, my friend. But I hope everything would stay safe with you guys, and the draft goes absolutely smashing. Whether you make another big trade or you pick those 3 picks, I can't wait to see what unfolds. But hopefully, get you back on throughout the season this year.
Absolutely. Thanks very much for having me, Jamie.
Not a problem. You have a great day.
All right. Take care.
This has been Offside LAX, where lacrosse comes to talk.